Thanks again for joining me here at Mind and Seek. Before we get started, I'd just like to remind you guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that now. And also click on the bell to get new content. And with that said, we'll get into our next topic, which is attachment. Now, because this topic is a little bit heavy, it will require your full attention because of the importance that it has in our everyday lives and society. Attachment is an essential part of our existence, and it is one of the main reasons behind suffering. As I have previously mentioned before, suffering happens when we live in a constant state of conditioning due to factors such as attachment. Our traditional notion of attachments may be based around people, belongings, and habits. But attachment in the spiritual Eastern realm extends to our deeply rooted beliefs in our identity, our expectations, and how these expectations affect our relationships in our everyday lives. Suffering comes into play when we attach our feelings and expectations to the dualities of life, such as happiness, sorrow, pain, joy, success, failure. When we bet on these concepts, invest our well-being, and put our happiness on the line, we are setting ourselves up for failure. When we see the world through the lens of duality and buy into the concept of failure, which does not really exist, we are creating a world of pain and suffering. Nature has a sequence of action and consequence, but that does not include our skewed perception. We basically feel these emotions because we are creating a space for expectations. Because we are born into a society that creates so much space for expectation, when things don't fall into place or go our way, we automatically feel this heavy burden of dread. We also create the illusion of expectation when we conform into our roles of society. For instance, let's say you just recently graduated grad school. Now your expectations are to find a good job, settle down, and this is what is expected. Now, the actual process or consequence is not the issue here, but our clingy thought towards the actual consequence is. Now, in that scenario, what nature intended will be. The ideal situation will naturally occur. But because our thoughts interfere with this natural process, we don't get the outcome we feel like we deserve. Now, anytime we say that we need or expect something to happen, not only are we experiencing illusion, we are allowing negative thoughts and feelings to rob us of our joy. So to clarify on attachment, the moment we create expectations and bet on an outcome, we are automatically creating a world of duality and letting disappointment into our lives. So how could we avoid these negative feelings from expectations? The answer is simple yet very complex. It is non-attachment. In the spiritual realm, non-attachment is when we allow the ego-based identity to take a step back. We drop the artificially created expectation that ultimately leads to disappointment, and we create room for opportunity and growth. And this means we drop the paralyzing ideas of fear and what ifs. We put aside the notions that society have created for us, and we start with a new palette and look through a new lens. When we claim something as ours, we are indulging in the ego and automatically lose. So when we say this is my home, this is my job, we are allowing the superficial concept to hold our happiness in the palm of its hands. The reality is there's no such thing as ownership and there's no such thing as failure. We live in a world full of action and consequence, and it is all very neutral. And most importantly, suffering does not apply to the consequences that occur in nature. The only thing that really suffers is our superficial ego that needs constant reassurance. So what should our focus and goal be here? Our focus should be for us to not marry or cling to any kind of people, property, concept, and create expectations and outcomes. When we set up scenarios for winning and losing, we inevitably set up for failure. But if we are intelligent enough to understand the reality of the world and see the neutralness and that there's no such thing as dualities such as wins and losses, we will truly never be disappointed and fail. In reality, we have already won. Nature is on our side. So when we don't make any bets, we can't lose. The opportunities are now, in the moment. I will end this discussion there. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you again soon.